Hey guys, and welcome back to Adventure Archaeology. I'm actually filming this video right now on the river, knowing that I'm going to premiere it. So this is going to be a long video so that we can have a whole lot of chat going on below. If you have any questions, be sure to pop them in there. I'll do the best of my ability to be able to answer them. This video will probably be around 30 or 45 minutes long. I don't know. We'll just have to see how long this GoPro battery lasts. If you're not subscribed, be sure that you are. And I can't guarantee that we're going to find anything today. We'll find out here in a minute. So I've been thinking about doing some live streaming, and every time that I've ever tried, usually the signal's too bad when I'm in a creek. So I think what I'm going to do today is I'm going to just film without stopping the camera. We're just going to let the camera roll, and if we find something, we find something. That's the bad part about being live, is there's no guarantees. But I would like to give y'all a bit more perspective of how far we walk before we find something. There's a vacuum, guys. Don't think we want that. I will get it out of the water on the way back. I will not be able to carry it all the way back to the truck. It might be one of those things where I move it a little bit at a time. That was thick. That was probably a soda bottle. So this video may be fairly long, but I've had some people asking for longer videos. So let's see what we come up with. Maybe some times where I go quiet. That's because I can't talk the whole time. I don't have that much to talk about. I know I like to talk, but that's not enough for this trek that we're about to go on. My main concern is when we get up here of how deep this one section of the creek's gonna be, if my waders are gonna be high enough to get me across it. Big piece of an old plate. There's another piece of an old plate. Set that glass down and grab it on the way back. So you may be wondering, what's the life expectancy of waders? I know that that's probably on the top of the list of what y'all are thinking about this week. Well, I've had my waders for right about a year, and they are leaking pretty good right now. So if you go out as often as we do, and you're pretty rough on them, they're not going to last but about a year. That's okay though, I got my use out of them, that's for sure. Another jug bottom. Oh, that would have been a smaller one. Water is nice and clear today. That's the good part about fall. In between the rains and the leaves falling, the water clears up extensively, which makes it where you can see a whole lot further than what you typically can. First tire of the day. Yeah, these waders are leaking pretty good, dadgummit. Another tire. I have so many people that get so mad that I don't carry every piece of trash I see out. I mean, I try to carry out as much as I can, but it's really just about impossible, guys. There's just so much trash that if I were to carry it out, I would need dump trucks and dump truck after dump truck after dump truck. More than the little Tacoma can hold, that's for sure. It wouldn't take but about 100 yards to pick up enough tires to fill the back of the Tacoma up. Plus then there's actually a fee to expose of tires. I think it's like $8 a tire or something like that. I would literally go broke trying to dispose just of the tires. Got a little deep over there. I'm gonna have to walk this way towards the shallow side. The waders are leaking at the knee, is what it feels like. Here's all the leaves that are gonna be settling in from the fall. Makes it hard to see over here. Usually this time of year you have to look for where the water's moving a little bit faster to be able to see better. But sadly the fast part's over there where it's deep. You can tell that the water was up over this probably a few days ago. We had a good bit of rain. And you never know when something good may have washed out of these sandbars or the edges of the creek. So don't get your mind set that you need to stay in the water. We found just as many good bottles on the bank as we have in the water. It is a beautiful day today. Right at about 65 degrees. The water's still pretty warm, thankfully, considering these waders are leaking. So right up here is the danger zone. That little curve right there, it gets really deep. So we're about to find out if I can make it or not today. And hopefully I can. If not, I'll be turning around and going back to the truck and going up a little bit further and getting back in. There's another vacuum. Somebody just liked to throw their vacuums in here. There's a bicycle. That's seen better days. They've been in there for a long while. There's an inner tube. A lot of people kayak and canoe this particular spot, so I'm actually surprised we don't see more inner tubes than what we do. There's a mason jar lid top, broken in half. And that's pretty creepy. There's a horse down there. Looks like that's one of those things that are on springs that you bounce up and down on as a kid. Alright, we're going to head back to the far side of the creek because it actually gets shallow over here again and deep over there. And we're going to be zigzagging a good portion of this video to stay in the shallow sections. And here is a really good catch point. These little spots right here, they usually hide the bottles really well in between the limbs. We're looking for that round shape more than we are the color because of the sediment that is settled in here. See, there's a bottle right there. It's a modern one, it looks like. Yep, it is. Michelob Ultra. Set it over here on the log and grab it on the way out. There we go. If you carry every piece that you pick up on the way in, on the way back out, your pack weighs like 100 pounds. Figured that out a long time ago. Surprised we didn't see a bottle right down through there, to be honest. There's usually always a piece or two of glass. Besides something modern. You see that? I barely saw the white. It took me a second to see it. There we go. Sorry about the camera work there. There's your jug top. I think I said this in about a week or so ago's video, that people save these and they actually use them to repair jugs that are damaged. Alright, here comes the deep section. This is probably where I'm going to get pretty wet. Maybe not. The more pressure your waders get on, the more those holes leak though. Big log. You know what, it's not that bad. I guess the water's pretty low today. During the spring, this can be almost chest deep. So that's a nice surprise. I'll take waist deep over chest deep any day. Little spots like this one can be pretty tricky. The water doesn't look like it's moving that fast, but if you actually walk through there and you're not prepared and you don't have your feet planted, it can wash you away pretty quick. And the last thing you want when you have waders on is to go under, because then your waders fill up and then you sink like a rock. Man, this is so much easier. It's so much shallower. Can't believe it's that much more shallow. All right, let's see what we can find on this bar. You can definitely tell the water's washed all this recently. Not enough yet for all this little bit of underbrush up here to die, so it's still camouflaging stuff pretty good. I was over here about a year ago and saw the biggest copperhead that I've ever seen. It went over and slithered up the bank and went up a tree, and I was like, man, if you didn't see that and stand on it and stood on it, it would really ruin your day. The bottom, that's thinner. That's a newer piece of glass. That looks thicker. Could have been pieced to a flask. Man, that looks like that. That was a pumpkin seed flask. You can tell how that's shaped. It'd have been shaped like a pumpkin seed. And that's old. I don't think I've ever dug one of these complete. Set it down right there. There we go. That's a piece to a soda right there. Can't tell what it was. Not enough there. Set that piece down with it. Grab that on the way back out as well. This kind of gives y'all more of a timeline of how long it can be in between finding whole bottles. I know a lot of times you see bottle and then, you know, a minute later you see another bottle and you don't realize that we walked a mile in between each to be able to get it. Well, it looks like that could have went up to a hutch top. It's very possible that's the shoulder to a hutch. Walked right over that earlier. It's an interesting piece right there. Looks like a decorative terracotta pipe. I don't know what that is, so I'm not going to touch it. It's like some kind of larvae or egg. I don't know. Lots of bricks in here, and that's because of all of the old buildings that used to line this creek. You can see that they're debossed with different town names and company names. There's another brick, another brick. Literally, the buildings, as they fell apart, more than likely were just pushed directly into the creek. There's a boot, and here's a boat. It's a boot in a boat. Modern screw top beer. Usually gets kind of deep right up here too, but I've kind of got a little bit more faith today, since it was shallow back there, that it will be up here, to let us continue our walk on up. So many tires in here, it's sad. You can tell when that sun goes away, you just can't see through the water as well. Sometimes you just got to stop, stand real still to let the water stop moving and kind of get a little bit better visual. Guess we'll find out how long this GoPro battery lasts. Seems like this was a tricky spot last time. It gets really deep over here, I don't remember. Maybe not. It's always kind of funny up through here. The bottles dry up and you've got to walk about another 1/10 of a mile or so, and then the glass starts to pick back up. I guess it just depends on where the buildings were and where people threw the bottles in at. But in this particular stretch right here, I have never done very well. Never found anything in here. But once we make the turn up here, I've found several up there, so. Oh, there went a crane. Oh, somebody's laying on the horn. With this stuff, this silt's built up really deep right here. That's probably why I've never found that many bottles. I'm sinking about 6 or 8 inches with every step. We're about to get back into the good stretch, right under that bridge right up there. You can tell they had some major erosion problems with the railroad tracks. Looks like they drove straight railroad steel into the bank and then put those concrete pillars in to help support it. You still wouldn't think that that would be enough to hold it, but apparently it is. Boy, I'm ready to get out of this silt. This stuff's tough to walk in. There's a tree across up here that we'll have to traverse over here shortly too. The log jams are not fun. So you can see the modern bridge right here, and right on the other side of it, you can see the iron bridge. And I'm not sure if that iron bridge, I believe it was the car bridge. I don't think it was railroad because it's not sturdy enough. But it's been there for a good while. And then there's another bridge on up that we'll see too, if we make it that far. These bridges are always hot spots because people that were driving over, whether they were in a train or a car, could have very well thrown something from the window via an old bottle, and that's what we hope for. So all the traffic through the years there's no telling what's really beneath the water right here. So I'm trying to decide right now. You can see how still that water is, whether I want to go right there or whether I want to walk up and around and then back down the bank. I think that may be what I do because of how still that water looks. It looks like it's going to be pretty deep. I don't know. Let's just quit thinking about it and walk out here and find out. But yeah, that bridge is pretty neat with the iron up there. It doesn't look sturdy enough to do anything, but it has withstood time and been there a very long time. Probably right around 100 years old if I had to guess. Oh, you know what? It's not deep. Well, I've just completely turned around today. Everywhere that's normally deep is not. During the spring, it wouldn't be unheard of, though, for the water levels to be up above that limb right there. Sinking in the silt. There you go. I'll give you a visual of how far I'm sinking. Ooh, made a lovely suction noise. Makes you wonder what ran out of this culvert into this creek through the years. I'm sure none of it was good for the creek. Shoo. Well, I hate to do it, but I'm gonna have to step off into that, I think. Hopefully there's no snapping turtles in here waiting on me. Camera work's about to be bad, guys. I gave y'all fair warning this was gonna be live. Alright, we've cleared the first hurdle. Now, as long as I don't sink too far into this right here, maybe we'll be alright. And I didn't. Alright. We have made it over the first log jam. And this sandbar up here usually yields glass. So come on, bottles. If nothing else, you're gonna get the bridge tour today. You get to see all the bridges. That's a whole other creek that comes in right there. I've never really explored it. I went up it, I don't know, probably a quarter of a mile, and it crosses under the railroad tracks, and there was a lot of stuff from the railroad, but then it kind of dried up. But that may be a winter adventure. I may come and just spend a whole day walking it to see what may come out, because you really don't know. You could make it another half mile in there and all of a sudden there'd be tons of bottles. Well, y'all seeing bottles? Am I just walking over top of them? This is also going to be a good way for me to premiere a video and be in the chat for a good while. Because this will probably end up being a 45-minute to an hour-long video, depending on how long this battery lasts. My internet and computer is going to croak. I never upload stuff that long. Park to a car. It's like an old military Jeep tire right there. You can see the oil seeping up through right here, probably from the residential area. See a bowl right there. Let's see if I can get any identifying marks off of it. You can see the pressure cracks in it. It's definitely old. It looks like it has Scotland on it. Probably a fairly old piece right there. I'll set it down right here by this bottle and pick the trash up on the way back out, like I said. I'm seeing pieces down through here, that's why I'm walking so slow. Not enough to get any identity off of them. Hollow skirt. There's a big bottom right there. Nothing on it either. There's one. You see that right there? That was a hutch. It looks like that could have been a Hoopert and Smiley, maybe. It's a good sign. There's another big, thick bottom piece right here. Not enough on it to identify it either. Instead of sea glass, we've got creek glass. And don't worry, when we walk back, we'll be walking down the sandbar the other way to make sure we didn't miss anything. I'm not just skipping around. Oh. And that was something good too. There again, everything's breaking right where you can't see what it was. Set these up here just like this so I don't forget them. Oh, that was a lime cola. I wonder where that was from. Huh. We don't find a ton of lime colas. Put it up here with my other pieces. I've had people say that they wanted to buy boxfuls of broken glass for art projects, which surprises me. I guess there's a use for everything. Sell them by the pound. You'd have to because of how much shipping is nowadays. Shipping's atrocious. Piece to a jug or a churn, 2 pieces. Look at all those leaves falling. That's crazy. Love the fall time. My favorite time of year. When I was a kid, summer was, because you were always out swimming and doing different things, and then as you get older and you realize you got to work and you're not able to take the whole summer off, that kind of changes pretty quick. Just something relaxing about walking a creek, and that's kind of why I wanted to do this full-blown video live. Regardless of what you find, it's always enjoyable. Found a Star Bottling Works hutch up here at this next bridge that we'll see in just a second. And I'm pretty sure that it was road trash from somebody throwing it out of their car or off their horse and buggy as they cross the bridge up here. And it's the prettiest of all the bridges for sure. I don't know if the vines will still be on it, but usually there's vines hanging from it, which just gives it a really eerie, beautiful appeal. You can kind of tell I'm in the morning light. That's because I get up early and go out while my wife and daughter are eating breakfast or still sleeping. That way they don't miss the time with me. They don't really like the creek walks. I say they, my daughter doesn't care. She's not scared of anything. My wife, she is not a fan of the creek walks in water that's usually murky or trashy. She likes the cleaner water, so we got her some waders and we took her out a couple of times and she just wasn't a big fan of it. She still loves to dig though, and she still loves the middle of the take, so I can't complain about that. As soon as we make this bend, you're gonna see that bridge I was talking about. Well, you'll see two bridges. The first bridge is the new bridge. The second bridge is the old one. I can just imagine several hundred years ago that this was a spot that Native Americans absolutely loved because of the way that this creek kind of just snakes through here. Has an abundance of fish in it. It's easy to navigate. So with a dugout canoe, this would be a perfect creek for them to thrive off of. Looks like the vines are dead, sadly. But the second bridge that we're about to get to is a really beautiful bridge. There's a Wylam brick right there. It's broken half, which is from Wylam, Alabama. That's a tough one to get. Being the color that it was, more than likely that was a fire brick. There's another one right there that's debossed. Somebody's having a blast on a four-wheeler up there. Sounds like it's running a bit rich. Really surprised we haven't seen more glass than what we have. That's how it goes sometimes. There's a jug piece right there. Tell it's broken. Pick it up, make sure there's no writing on it. That one's been in there and broken for a long time. You see how rounded the edges are? It's not a recent break because the sand has literally rounded it out. There's a bottle piece right there. It looks thick. It is thick. There again, nothing embossed on it, so I can't see what it is. It's driving me crazy. Everything's a big mystery. Here's something metal. Ugh. Looks like a piece to a chair. I picked it up in case it was a gun barrel. My emails are going crazy. Must have just got signal back. I have a whole lot of people messaging me now between Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and I'm not able to get back to everybody, so I'll apologize to that. It's just, there's so many comments now, and a lot of people, I guess, just consider me the bottle guy. So every time they find something that they don't know what it is, I'm getting an email. Hey, can you identify this? Can you tell me about that? And you know, most of the time, to be truthful, I really can't. I'm good at the Central Alabama bottles. Well, I guess I will turn the camera off for a second and answer this phone call. All right, we're back. It was a telemarketer. Just as long as it wasn't my wife, I'm all good. I got a horrific phone call about 2 weeks ago, and where my computer is in my office, it actually has about, I don't know, several hundred bottles on it in my computer, and it's an 1890 secretary desk. And my 4-year-old decided that it was a good idea to climb it to get the fish food for the aquarium. And let's just say she knocked it over, and I broke a ton of bottles due to me not having L brackets on my desk, which is now fixed now. But to say that I was sick would be a major understatement. I was beyond sick. I was devastated. So if in last week's video I seemed like I was a little bit down and out, that's what it was. When you dig and find as much history as we do, and then you know, you put so much work and effort into it only to see it shattered in your office floor after all these years, it really hurts your feelings. There's that bridge. We're gonna go to the sandbar right on the other side of that bridge, and then we're gonna turn around and walk back up the other side of the creek. Cement bridges weren't introduced in Alabama until right around 1900, so if I had to guess, that bridge is probably right at 1900 to 1910. It may have a date on it someplace, I'm not for sure. But it's been there long enough that somebody, I'm sure a bunch of people actually, have thrown many, many valuable bottles from it. Probably even several Coke Hutches. Which is crazy to think about. To them it was trash. To us, it's an $8,000 bottle that is still on my bucket list to find. Most of the Coke Hutches come from Alabama, and even though we live in the state and we're probably some of the most active diggers and searchers in the state for these bottles, we've only still found that one piece that was in that video that was, you know, about a year ago. And it just tells you how incredibly rare those bottles are. I can't imagine if that case would have fell over with Coke Hutches in it. I guess that's where you talk to your home insurance company and get things insured. I know that I've got several buddies that have Coke Hutches, and they keep them in safes. I was like, man, if you have it in a safe though, you can't enjoy it. You can't even look at it. But they kind of look at it as an investment that will gain value. Well, we're about to turn around and walk back. I'm not seeing anything. That doesn't mean that the other side of the creek won't yield a whole bunch of bottles. So keep that in mind. Let's just walk right over here real quick. Looks like a good catch around that stump base for stuff to roll and get caught. Sadly, I don't see anything. That's okay. Walk a little bit further. This looks really good through here with all these logs and stuff. I don't know what that is. Let's grab it and find out. Oh, little sauce bottle. There's a shower head or a toilet bowl pump. Couldn't tell. It's like a piece to the side of a jug. Ooh, there's a bottle. Finally, we're starting to get into them. It only took about 30 or 45 minutes. And this might be a modern one. It is. It's clear. It's going to be... Well, no, that's not modern. Just looks clear. I guess the way the water is, it says December 25th, 1923. Doesn't have the mold number. That's from Birmingham, Alabama. That's a common one. But still, talking about probably about a 90-year-old bottle right there. Sadly, the top's gone. There's another boot. Had to get kind of low right through here to try to see a little bit better. Let's see. Another piece to a jug. And then the water starts to change right through here and everything gets back murky. So back there the water was moving faster, so that's what probably moved those bottles out where we could see them. I don't know how long I've been recording. I usually try to shoot for around 12-minute videos, but this is really out of my comfort zone. But I hope that this is going to give us a chance to talk in the chat. The last few times I've tried to do premieres, YouTube has royally messed it up. And they've made it where the video was not playing like it should, and people were getting frustrated and dropping out. And that's okay. We're going to give it a shot one more time. It's been a few months, and maybe it'll work this time. So the battery's starting to run a little bit low. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera off, and I'll turn it back on if I find something good up here.